So today I thought I would do a video on how to use Photoshop. Um, this is gonna be a long one. Sit tight, get some popcorn, you know, whatever you want to do. Alright, so this is gonna be on Photoshop 2021. And we just gotta wait for it to launch. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like when you first open it up. You can see some of my cloud documents on here. If you just bought it or you just opened it for the first time, you probably won't see anything there, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to start showing you by just importing one of my blank templates, which I already did a video on that. I'll put it in like the little card in the top right corner. So to do that, you can either go into Finder or Files, and let's see here, and then you can find your blank template, and you can just drag and drop that in. The other way is you can press the Open button and then find it when the window pops up, and then you just press the Open button. Alright, so this is what your workstation, what I call it. This is what that's going to look like. So on the left side, you will see your tools. So the top one is the Move tool. Here, let me zoom in a little bit here. This is going to let you move the layer around. The next is Select, and you just click and drag with your cursor, and then you can select a little area. You can copy it and paste it if you want to move it around. The next one is the lasso tool, which is like Select, but you can move it freely with your cursor. And then it's the same principle for that. Next is the magic wand, which lets you remove like specific colors and stuff. So you can see that I selected the background color. If I just press the delete button, you can see that I got rid of it. To go back on a Mac, at least, you do Command Z. Copy and paste is Command Z or Command C and Command V. I'm not completely sure what it is for Windows, just because I don't use Windows, but a quick Google search should bring that up. The next one I'm not going to talk about, mainly because I don't use it. Plus, I don't expect you to be using 3D objects in a template, because that doesn't make sense. The next is the brush tool. So this just lets you draw, same like moving your cursor or whatever. To change the color of this, you go down on the left panel, down to these two little boxes, and then you can just move your cursor around and then select what color you want. All right, so then the next is the stamp tool. This one is a little complicated. So if you want to like copy a specific area and move it somewhere else as like a copy, I guess you could say, what you'll want to do is you want to press Option on your keyboard, and this little icon will come up, and then you want to like hover it over the area that you want to copy, and then I click, and then you can see that if I just move my cursor, that it's copying that specific area. Here, let me zoom in for you. You can see that it's like copying it. Alright, so if I get rid of that, oop, let me get that out of there, sorry. Then the next is the erase tool, so you just use this to erase part of the template or whatever you need to do. The next, I'm not going to talk about 3D objects again. The next is the type tool, which you can just click and then, you know, type whatever you want. To change the font that you want to use, it's in the top left. It's this little drop-down menu. I have a lot of custom fonts, so chances are you won't have as many as I have, which there's no problem with that. You just want to scroll around and then just click on the one that you want. Over here is the size of it. You can just either click the drop-down and change it, or you can click and drag on the T. Over here, you can choose if you want it in the middle, on the left, the right. And then there's also the color picker, which is just the same as these little boxes down here. All right. Next, I'm not really going to talk about this one because it's, in my opinion, not very important. Same with this one. The next one is pretty important. It's the rectangle tool. So you can just click and drag wherever you want, and it creates a rectangle. Same thing with the text. There's the color picker up here. If you don't want a rectangle, you can change it. If you do a right click on there, you can see that there's rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, line, and then custom shape. Custom shape, if you go to the top, there's some things that you can do, like trees and animals and stuff like that. So like a moose. Yeah, fun. Down here is just the hand tool. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't even know how to use that. I've never used it once. The next one is the zoom tool, which I don't really use that either. I'm using a trackpad, so I can just use 2 fingers and then zoom in and out. And then down here is just like various other things. If you watch any of my other videos, the only one that I use in here is the smudge tool, just to blend textures together if I need to. But other than that, that's all the tools that you have. So moving on to the right side, the layer up here are your properties, and it's pretty much useless information unless, like, let's say here, I'll spawn in a little rectangle. Basically, it's the same stuff that would be on the top, just over here instead. So, you know, like your color, if you want to make the corners rounded, you can do that, you know, stuff like that. If you want to have like an outline on it, you know, you can do that here too. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. And different stuff will show up for like text and other things like that. So then down underneath that, this is the most important thing of them all. This is your layers panel. So at the top, you'll see a couple things. These are blending modes. So let's say you have a design that you want to match texture-wise to like the shirt. You can just set that to overlay and it will look just the same. Like it was almost made for that. Over to next to that is the opacity. This one you can do a drop down and then just drag and drop. Not drag and drop, drag and slide. Or you can just drag on the name and change it there. This will just change how transparent the parts are. That's pretty much it for that part. So then underneath that is the layers panel. So if you see, this is layer 1, which is the template, and you can click the little eye symbol to hide a layer if you'd like. So let's say I drag and drop a rectangle. You can see that it's now a new layer called rectangle 1. Same with hiding it. Let's say I want to spawn another rectangle, just like this, and I want those two to be... Here, let's spawn another one. We'll just do a couple at a time. Let's say I want all of these to be one layer. So you can click one, and then hold and shift, and then click the bottom, or, you know, whichever ones you want to combine. And then you right click, and then press convert to smart object. So what that does is it will convert it to one big piece that's one layer by itself, because every object you spawn is a single layer. So once you do that, you can erase it. Now, you'll see this little icon show up on your mouse, just because you can't erase smart objects. So what they'll ask you to do is, if you want to rasterize it, which you just press OK, and then there you go. Now you can like erase it, you know, do whatever you want with it. Down here, if you just want to create a new layer, you just press the plus button. If you want to group things, so let's say I want to group these two, you can just click and drag them down into the folder icon, which I'm going to take them out. Let's see, there we go. Next to that is like brightness and contrast and all that kind of stuff. I say that's more important for photo editing, but you know, to use it, you just click whatever one you want, and then it will show up in your properties, and then you can adjust it there. Right. Next up is a clipping mask. So let's say that I want a little circle. Yep. And I'm going to make it white. And then let's say you want a rectangle that's red. Or, hold up. There we go. That's red on top of it. You can either click and drag this down to there. Let's try that again. Alright, it's not cooperating today. You can just right click it and do create clipping mask, and then you can see that the rectangle will only show up right in the circle. That would have been a good Pokeball if I would have continued there. So then let's spawn another rectangle just to show you. So then next to that is the effects. So you can see there's a couple things: bevel and emboss, stroke, inner shadow, inner glow, satin, color overlay, gradient, pattern overlay, outer glow, drop shadow. Bevel and emboss is going to give it like this 3D look. Here, let me bring it up. So like you can see that adds like almost like these sides to it. Stroke is just like an outer border. Inner shadow is like a shadow on the inside, make it look sort of 3D. Inner glow is the same. Satin gives it like this texture, almost like shadowing. Color overlay just puts a color over top of it. Same with gradient. Pattern, you can just choose from the patterns that they give you. So like let's put in some grass or whatever. Outer glow will give you like a what's the word? Like almost like a little glow border for it. And then drop shadow will just have a little shadow underneath it. Usually it would look something like this, just because I have mine set to like custom settings. It would look more like that. All right, so then that's it for the effects. Now, some of the basic key commands, which I'm using right now to move it around. To get into this, for Mac, you want to do Command T on your keyboard. And then you'll see it comes up with like corners and it's highlighted in blue. This lets you move it around. If you want to like resize it, you can just click and drag. If you right click, you have more options. Like if you want to change the perspective of it, you can press that. And then it will like let you change like how you see it, like that kind of thing. Up here is like more resizing options, stuff like that. If you want to make a bend, you can click that, and then you can just like, you know, play around with it, which is fun. All right. So then up here, there's a couple more things. If you want to like make it blurry, which here, let me put a texture in it. If you want to put a texture in like a rectangle, you go to the color picker, and then the one over here that looks like a lattice, and you can just select anything. So I'm going to go into Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and then you can see that it's going to make it like a little blurred overlay for it, which this is very convenient if you want to like, you know, remove some detail for whatever reason. Stuff like that. What else do I use? Well, that's pretty much it for the basics. To save a file, you want to go to File and then Save or Save As, or you can just press Command S and then it will pop up on your screen. And then if you want to reopen the file in Photoshop and you want all of your layers and settings to be there, you want to set the format to Photoshop. And that's going to save it as whatever file name you use, .psd. So like once you open that back up, all your layers will be there, everything like that. Now, if you want to upload your template to ROBLOX, you want to do Command S, and then you want to change this to PNG, which is right down here. This is going to make it transparent. It's the only format that ROBLOX will accept as a clothing item, various stuff like that. So that is the most important one if you're trying to upload to ROBLOX for anything. Specifically, you know, pants, t-shirts, shirts. Then you can name it whatever you want. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you, like, probably in the same minute, because I have nothing to do all the time. If I went too fast, sorry. I probably did. But, yeah. Anyway, expect videos to come out on advertising and tags and a couple other tips and tricks like that. I won't be making a tutorial on how to use, like, I don't know, paint.net, you know, stuff like that other people use, mainly because I just don't use them. I use Photoshop exclusively to make clothing. So if you guys ever need any help or anything, my email is on my YouTube profile. You can send me a message on Roblox. You just have to follow me. You can leave a comment, you know, whatever you want to do, I'll get back to you and try and help you with that. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.